It's not a game.
Hello everyone, and thank you for clicking on this video. I'm Luke. I'm one of the PNW boys, and we're gonna do a new series on this channel because me and Cole are both trying to hunt deer for the very first time in Washington State. A few things to know about us: we've never hunted deer before. Nobody else in our families has really hunted deer before, so we are very new to this game, and we're trying to soak up as much information as we can. I'm going to try to make this video really quick for you guys because me talking to the camera, I know, can be pretty boring. So, welcome to a new series we're doing here on PNW Boys channel, which is learning the game. It's a big task, but we're up to it, and we've already started. Trying to learn as much as we can from podcasts, YouTube videos, articles, books, and people who have been doing this for a long time. So a lot of what you're going to hear today is from the other people's theories that we have taken into consideration, gone out, used, and seen if it works. Moving on. This series is going to cover a lot. Basically, hopefully we're going to show you guys what works and what doesn't work so that you can have better understanding if you're trying to hunt deer for the first time too. We're also trying to show you what you need and what you don't need because, you know, obviously get what you can afford, but there's a lot of people out there who don't just have piles and piles of cash to spend on a bunch of gear that maybe you don't actually need to get the job done. Now, obviously, it helps to have some nice gear, you know, guns, hunting apparel, that sort of thing, but what do you actually need? So that's what we're going to be going over a lot in this series too. Like I said, we're very new, we're very open to information, so if you watching this have any experience hunting blacktail or mule deer, we'd love any tips you could share in the comment section. We're very open-minded and would love to hear what you guys think. So this series covers everything from e-scouting to on-the-ground scouting to sighting in rifles to the actual hunting season, where hopefully with a little bit of luck we can get the job done. So what we're going to cover today. So let's go over e-scouting for blacktail first. So basically there's a few things we look for. We're looking for old growth, south-facing slopes away from roads, anywhere from 4,000 to 5,500 feet elevation. And we're also trying to find spots that are hard to get to. Maybe there's a barrier in the way, so there's a river that you have to cross, or a tall mountain that you have to hike over to get to where you want to hunt, or a washed out road. It could be any of these things, because those kind of places are going to discourage the average hunter who just wants to hunt from the road, basically. So we're trying to do a little bit more to maybe increase our chances of seeing more deer. So what is old growth? Old growth, it's pretty self-explanatory, just old trees that cover more ground, so when the sun comes down there's less forage on the actual ground, easier to move through. So if you find old growth on a south-facing slope, which is the warmest during winter, there's a good chance there might be some black-tailed deer there hiding out. With that said, we also have a few spots that are just clear cuts. Now, clear cuts are a tough thing to scout because they're really easy to find on maps, which could be good, but with that said, there's roads going right to them. It's basically everybody else knows about clear cuts and everybody else is going to be hunting clear cuts. So how can we find deer in spots where not everybody's going to be? Because for me personally, if I can find a spot where there's an opportunity to see one buck rather than a spot where there's an opportunity to see 20 bucks, but there's also 40 other people hunting that area, I'd rather go to this other area because I'll be alone. And that's kind of the experience we're chasing over here at PNW Boys. I'm gonna stop waving this thing around because I know that's annoying probably. So yeah, that's basically what we're looking for. Hard to reach areas. And now on the west side of Washington, it's really overgrown. There's a lot of undergrowth, things like that. So getting away from roads and trails is important. You don't need to go as far as you would on, say, the east side of Washington, where it's a lot more open, kind of desert country. So we're going to be trying to get like a mile away from roads and trails. That's basically our goal every time we try to scout a spot. Here's a couple of areas that we've e-scouted for. Now we just need to get there and see what that country is like. It looks good on the maps, but you know, just because it looks good on the maps doesn't mean A, you can get there, and B, it's hikeable country basically. Moving on to mule deer. Mule deer is a little bit different because the country they're in is just a little bit different. It's a lot more open, easy to walk. So location is probably the most important thing. The things we're looking for when scouting for mule deer are, one, burns, which are areas that have been burned by fires in years previous. Some people say like 5-year-old burns are really good, or 4, 3. I mean, I'm sure if you're just in an old burn area, the nutrients there are a lot more richer, basically, so it provides feed for a lot of animals. So that's why we look for burns. The other thing we're looking for are just basins, drainages, anything that's away from roads and trails. This is a lot more important on the east side where we'll be hunting mule deer, because you need to be able to get at least a mile away from trails and 2 miles away from roads, because if it's glassable from the roads, there's going to be other people seeing it. So you got to try to find a spot that's tucked away, you know, hidden from roads, basically. That's basically the biggest thing. So that's basically what we're looking for. It's not as, we don't have as much instruction for that. Just look for areas where there's cover, so there's trees, there's feed, and there's water, and there's shelter. The basic needs, right? Maslow's hierarchy of needs. That's where we'll be looking, as long as they're hard to reach places, because that's where we want to be. Oftentimes there's also the coolest. Now, just a side note about mule deer. There are about 90,000 mule deer in Washington state. If you compare that to another state such as like Colorado, where there's over 400,000, the chances of shooting a mule deer in Washington are pretty tough. But we're up for the challenge. We're gonna see how it goes. We may not end up getting anything, but hey, we're okay with that. We're just trying to learn as much as we can. We're trying to learn the game, test out both things, see which one we like more, Blacktail on the west side or mule deer on the east side. So that's why we're doing that. That's pretty much all I have for you guys. I would love to hear input from you guys who have hunted before, have a little bit of experience. If you have any sort of knowledge, feel free to leave it in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. We're very open-minded. Appreciate you being here. If you want to see how the rest of this series goes, feel free to stick around by, you know, subscribing, liking the videos, letting us know you appreciate it. Because hey, this is something we love to do, and eventually, you know, we can get monetized, or we can bring in some sort of ad revenue to be able to do this for free. Then we can bring more content to you guys, and hopefully better quality too. So with that said, that's all I have. Thanks for watching. Peace.